Okay, so for today's session, so there is a day one session which is planned for today. Okay, so in today's session, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to read the data from S3 object, from the S3, which is nothing but the simple storage service from the AWS services, and we'll try to perform some transformation. Okay, depending on the functionality or the requirement which has been suggested by client, and then we'll try to write the data back to the S3. So this is the file with which we would be playing with our Spark Scala coding. Okay, so these are the three columns. The requirement is like, it's just a simple requirement. So the title, this should be broken into two columns. The first is title and the second is year. If we go to the genres column, so there are some column names which are separated with a pipe delimiter. Again, I need to break this column and I need to segregate the data, okay, in different columns, and then I need to write the data. This is what the requirement is. I can do this with various things. Okay, what I can do is I can use cloud formation. With cloud formation, I can write some scripts either in a .json or in .yaml format. Okay, and I can create my infrastructure. Okay, what I can do is, second thing is, I can spin up my EC2 instance, which is nothing but Elastic Cloud Compute instance. After creating this instance, I can play with my AWS CLI like how we play with our Linux commands. Similarly, it looks like that. Okay. The third option is nothing but playing with your Python Boto 3. Okay. Again, this is like Python Boto 3 Lambda functionality which it provides us. We can make use of that also. Okay. But here today I'll be showing you a simple structure. So I'll not go into the complex thing as of now because these are planned step by step. So as it's like day one, so I'll be going with a simple thing. So today what we'll do is we'll try to create a bucket in AWS S3. We'll try to upload a file manually for today. Okay, then we'll try to write the code, and then we'll try to see the transformation. We see the data and then write back the data to the S3. So that is what is planned for today. So let's start with the day one. So I've just started. I was just trying to write the code. So I've just prepared a object. So how do we prepare the object? Just right click, new, and create an object and give the name. So your object got created. So once your object is created, you need to execute it. So for execution, we need to have a main, okay, wherein your methods would be called, where your classes would be called, and your object creation would be done. So again, in Scala, we don't have a concepts of like creation of classes and like we have, but how we do in Java. So everything in Scala is considered as an object. Okay, so let's not deep dive into that. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a main. Okay, so in this main I'm trying to say it's an args of array of string, so it's like just normal syntax which we always follow. Okay, now in this what I would be doing is I would be writing a small, first what I'll do is I'll try to test the code whether the code is working by reading the data from my local file system. If that is working fine, I'll try to apply some transformation, and if that is working fine, then what I will do, I will just remove my local credentials and I'll try to put my S3 credentials so that I'll be able to access my S3 data as well. Okay, so let me write a try catch block. So this is nothing but to handle some before try catch block, let me just try to read the data. Okay, first let me just try to show you how to read the data in Spark. So we might be knowing this, but so whenever we try to write a program in Spark, okay, so there is always the entry point. Okay, in Spark 1.x, Spark context was the entry point wherein the Spark context used to initialize, wherein SC, which is nothing but the Spark context, used to communicate with all your cluster, with all your parameters. Okay, moving ahead, as the Spark became mature and it introduced Spark 2.x. So with the Spark session, again the functionalities has been added and we can use the updated version Spark session. Okay, which is nothing but it again has the Spark context features and capabilities. So here I would be using Spark session. Okay, so let's try to create that creation or the entry point to write the program. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to write a Spark Okay, so now here I'm trying to use Spark session. So you'll come to know now how to build the program and how we can eradicate the errors slowly. Now if you see over here, it is complaining me about something. What it is telling me? It is telling me not found value Spark session. Yes, we know that. So what for that what we need to do is we just need to import one package, that is org.apache.spark.sql, and we just need to say Spark session. As soon as you say, the error is gone. So as you start writing the code in IDEs, it gives you some errors, and by looking at the errors we can come to know what are the errors, write those, find out the issues and embed that, and the issues get resolved. So slowly you get to know this. Okay, no issues. So under this I'm trying to write a builder program. Okay, spark session dot builder. As of now I'm trying to do on a local system. Okay, I'm not trying to use my master as a yarn. Okay, what is yarn? Again, in yarn we have like client and cluster mode, so let's not dive into that. It's as of now it's a standalone cluster for me, so I'm just using my local resources. Okay, so once this is done, I need to give certain application name. Why I need to give the application name is because there will be many applications which would be executing in your production cluster. So if any issues are occurring, you can identify your application or your failure with this name also. So for that purpose, I'm trying to give something. It's your call. So let's say I'm trying to read the data from S3 and write the data to S3. Cool, done. And I just need to say get or create method. Done. So the Spark initialization has been done. Once I have done a Spark initialization, what I need to say is, because once you execute this program you will be getting lot many info. Okay, so those are nothing but your logging properties. How the hierarchy goes is it starts from debug, info, warning, error, sorry, fatal and error. So I would be just ignoring everything, and whenever the error is occurring in my program I just want to see those messages in my console. So this is my console, I just want to see that. So what I would do is spark context, I will just set my log level to an error. So done. So I will not be seeing unnecessary warnings or unnecessary loggings in my thing. Okay, cool. So now the initialization of Spark has been done. Now let's try to read a file and let's try to see the data. Okay, so let's try to see that. So I have a file. Okay, so I'm trying to give, now why I'm writing this val and var. So Scala provides couple of variables. So val stands for immutable variable and var stands for mutable variable. And again, what is immutable, mutable, we might be knowing, or we'll try to see that later. Now I'm trying to create a name. You can give any choice of your name. So let's say I'm trying to create a movies data frame. So I know now this is a movies file. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to give a name of that. Purely depends, I can give my name also, Saif, over here as well. No issues in that. Okay, how the syntax would be. So now to read the file we have to write a small syntax. Okay, and that syntax would be, and what I'll try to do is, let me remove this. If there are any exceptions which are coming, so I'll try to handle that in my try and catch block. Okay, so let me just, so this is again a small programming paradigm which we'll try to see slowly. So let me just write this over here. Again it is throwing an error, so it will be throwing an error illegal because the syntaxes are not embedded properly. So we'll try to see slowly. Okay, now I need to read the data frame. Okay, so to read, or let me just write few syntaxes and let me make it so, because I need to execute also, or let me just show you this first. Let me just show you this first and then we'll try to see. Okay, then we'll try to embed that. So spark dot read dot, okay, now if you see, this is the file and this file has some columns, okay, which are nothing but my header. So with spark dot read dot, I can just say option. Okay, I can just provide key value. Okay, so the key is nothing but the header. Okay, I need to read that, so I would say that as a true. Okay, So that is the thing which I have done. So I have just written 1. So with again I can write few options also. So again, now what I need to do is, if you see this file, I need to infer the schema. So now if you see, whatever the column names are there, pertaining to that column, we have certain data inside that. Okay. If you need to infer the schema, it means you need to adapt the schema from your source. In my case, it is CSV. You can do that also by just specifying infer schema. Okay. So as of now, I'm just saying take that. Okay. And then I will just say CSV. And here I will try to give my path of the file from where I need to load the data. So let's say file : I know the path of the file, so I'm just trying to write it. I know where my file is. So D : data underscore in. Then I have Hadoop data set, and I have a file called movies.csv. Okay. So this is a small syntax, like it's a common syntax whenever we try to read the file as a data frame. When you just hover over movies.csv, can you see now it's returning me as a data frame. Okay. Now what I can do is I can view the data from this data frame also. So there is just a small command show, and I'll just say false. Why I'm trying to write the false? Because if the data in a column is greater than 20 characters, so it will not truncate and I'll be able to see the entire data. That is what I have written for. Okay. So I'm just trying to read the data as of now from a local file system and try to show you the data. Okay. Once we see the data, we'll try to build the code and we'll try to then play with S3 also. Okay. Cool. So now if you see, I've just taken first 5 records, and yes, I'm able to view the data with my columns, and I'm able to see in a structured format, which is nothing but a data frame in this case. Okay. So that is fine. Let me comment this out. I don't need this now. Okay. So now what we'll try to do is we'll try to work on our requirement. So the requirement was we needed to break this column, and separate in individual columns. That's what our requirement was. Okay. So let's say I'm just trying to write a small println statement, and let's say the code starts from you. Okay. Cool. So let's start writing the code. So let's take this. Okay. So let me create a new data frame. So in this, I will be storing my result. So whatever the data is coming, I'm taking that data frame over here. Okay. Now let's come to the file. Now in this file, if you see, I have a column. Now I need to break this. So we all know, like in SQLs, we try to break with substring and int strings. Okay. So the same concept I will try to apply over here, but here I will be using a Dsl method. Okay. So what is Dsl method? It is nothing but your domain specific language. Okay. Now the domain specific language is nothing but in the language which you are trying to perform your coding skills. So I'm trying to use my Spark Scala. So whatever the thing is, I'll be writing with the help of Spark using Scala. Okay. So let me just, now I'll not be going in depth to explain what is the code and why I'm trying to write, etc, etc. So just understand and what is the thing. So I'm trying to use a concept called with column. Okay. Okay, so once I'm trying to use with column, okay, so it is telling something. Okay, not enough arguments. Okay, because it is expecting certain arguments. If you see, it is expecting certain arguments which needs to be there. Yes, I'll provide those arguments. So let's come inside that and let's start providing those arguments. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll name the new column as something and I'll try to write a code. Okay, so let's the new column name is new underscore title. Whatever column name you can give, it's your call. Okay. Now from this column I will try to break this. So what I will try to do is I will try to use a substring and I'll try to come from behind and I'll try to extract my 6 characters. Okay, because I know if I just evaluated the data or I just do a sampling of data, so I can see the last 6 characters are nothing but my year. So I can quickly pick that. Okay, so I can do that. So let me take, now for that I just need to write an expression. Now if you go hover over it, it will tell that not found value expression. Yeah, that is cool, no issues in that. So what I can do is I need to import certain package for that. So that is nothing but sql dot functions, and under functions I have something called expression. Okay, so once I embed this, that error should go on. Now it is telling me not enough arguments because I have not embedded the code inside that, or whatever the small logic. Okay, so let's try to write a logic inside this. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to apply a substring. Okay, so substring, so what is the column name from my, so it's a column name is title. Okay, I need to start from first position. Okay, but if you see, now I need to extract only 6 characters. So what I will try to do is I can, if I just write 6, so what will be the starting position first, and the length would, I need to travel up to 6 characters. So here what I would do is I will just simply write length. Okay, so length of my column, that is nothing but my title. Okay, and I will just say -6. Okay, so that should be enough, or that should be sufficient for me. Okay, if you see hover over this, I can see the data for this also. Okay, so if I just execute this, and if I just say show, and let's see 5 records, and let's say false, and let me execute this. Let's see how the intermediary result is looking like. Okay, so you'll get to know what we are trying to do step by step. Okay, if you see, we had these 3 columns, I have added 1 column. Okay, now if you see, I have just removed that year, whatever the year was there from this, I have just, not this, I have just removed that. Okay, so I've just removed that, and the first thing is working fine. Cool, so that is, I'm trying to get my new title. Okay, now I'm trying to get the title. Now what I need to get is, I need to get my year. Okay, so let me just go ahead. Okay, so let's move on with the second thing is, let's try to use again with column. Okay, so it is expecting some column, so let's say now the column name is nothing but new year. Okay, or whatever, means like it's not a new year, but a year which will be added as a column name with that name. Okay, now here what I would be doing is, again I would be extracting the same thing, so but the difference would be in a small syntax. I'm using my expression, there is a expr. Okay, so that is fine. Now let's come inside this, same thing what I have done earlier, so I'll be doing over here. So let me just use substring, substring. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so in this substring what I would be writing is, I would be just simply writing the column name, that is title. Okay, start from this, so -6 characters, and move ahead till 6 characters. With that I will be getting my column, that is nothing but my year. Okay, let me execute this and see piece of code what we are trying to get. Hopefully after this I'll not show the, means we'll try to move ahead with the stuff, because we should be good with the code. So initially it's just like, I'm just trying to show you what is small piece of code I'm trying to write, and what the intermediate result I'm trying to get. Okay, we can check that. Okay, so if you see, now with the small piece of thing what I have done, I'm just trying to get that. Now what I need to do is, I just need to replace this parenthesis. I don't need this parenthesis. Okay, because that is not part of my requirement. So what I need to do is, just need to replace that. For that we have certain things which is provided. So what I can do is, I can use my regex expression, and I can remove that also. So let me use with column, I'll use the same column name. Okay, because I just need to replace in the same column, so that is nothing but in my new year. And here I am trying to use my regular expression, that is nothing but regex replace. Okay, so under this regex replace, what I will be using is, I will be using a call. Okay, and that column is nothing but my new year. Okay, so this is the column on which I will be trying to apply certain things And what is those certain things? So I need to just embrace that in double quotes. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give my square brackets. So I have open parenthesis and I have close parenthesis. As these are special characters, I just need to escape that with a backslash. Okay, so it is complaining me something about error. So it is telling me not found value regex replace. Okay, and it is telling me not found value call. Okay, so all these are functions which I have used. Okay, so let me just copy this. There are a couple of ways of writing this. Either you can just write call directly like this. Okay, so that error should go. Now we should get only for regex replace. Okay, either you can do in this way, or else what you can do, if you don't want to do, if you know the functions explicitly, so what you can do is keep and just adding this. So I know call, and after that I have just like regex underscore replace, and let me close this. Okay, so it is giving me some error. So what it is telling me, so not found regex replace regex. So I think there is some typo error. Okay, yeah, there is some typo error. What I have done, so I just need to say regular expression. So let me just say that. Okay, so now that is gone, but again there is some error over method. Okay, so let me just see that. So regex underscore replace, and this is like closed over here. This is, so regular express underscore replace, this column is, let me just pause for. Okay, so now what I am doing is, on this column I need to perform certain operations. Okay, what is this operation? What I'm trying to do is, if you just see this, I want to remove this, right? Okay, so this is my open parenthesis and this is my close parenthesis, which I need to replace, right? So the replacing thing I need to replace with something. So what I need to do is, I just need to give an empty braces. Okay, so that should go. Okay, if you see, now the error is gone. So I have not written the appropriate syntax, so hence it was giving me an issue. And let's see the code for the last time. So then we'll quickly move on writing the things. So now what we had like open parenthesis and close parenthesis, we are just trying to eradicate that. Okay, so the first set of requirement was there, like I needed to break this my column, so that is being done. So if you see, I'm able to get my title and I'm able to get my year. Okay, so in the similar fashion I will need to do for the genres also, but here I just need, all are separated by like a pipe delimiter. Okay, so I need to just write some code and I'll be able to do that. Okay, so let's try to do that and quickly see that. Okay, so this piece of done. Now what I will try to do is, after this again I will try to use my with column. Okay, so with column is very useful. Okay, so let me just use with column again. Okay, okay, so here what I am trying to give, I'm trying to give my column name is, let's say, new genres. Okay, this is the column name which I am trying to assign. Now what I need to do is, I need to, let me just come a little bit. So I need to break this. Okay, so break this is nothing but we need to split this, as simple as that. So I just need to say split. Okay, I need to split the column, and what is that column? The column is nothing but genres. Okay, so I am trying to split that column on the basis, and that column is like a in that column is nothing but a pipe delimiter. So again I just need to escape that. So again it is complaining me something about, so it is telling me not found value split. No issues. Either you can again write import org.apache.functions over here. Okay, you can write, and you can just write what was it, so it was missing called split. Okay, you can write split, the error should go, or else in this only you can just keep on embedding. Okay, whatever the functions, or else what you can do is, you can just remove everything and you can just import everything also, even that is fine. But with this we don't know what are the explicit functions which we are using, and we are trying to use the import all the functions. But anyhow we are writing the code, we know what we are trying to do. but again it depends from person to person, how the person is writing the code and how is achieving the things. Okay, cool. So now we have done, so we have splitted the column till here. Okay, that will be coming into my new genus. Done. In this, when we are trying to get the genus, so now what I will be doing is I would be reading the columns and I would be just iterating over this columns with some Scala coding. Okay, some just a small one line code, not a big code. Okay, let's try to see that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to write a select statement. Okay, in this select statement what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, first of all, I'm trying to read all the columns with an asterisk. Okay, so here I have written, means I have read all the columns. Okay, now inside this, after reading the columns, what I am trying to do is now I am trying to apply a append method. Okay, so this is the append method of Scala coding, so no need to bother about it as of now. Okay, so what I am trying to write over here, so just see it. So 0, I'm just trying to over the, means iterate over the loop. Okay, so 0 until 5. Okay, in that I'm trying to apply a map function. So map again is a function, so I'll be using a lambda function in this to achieve some certain things. Okay, and what is that? So on the column, which is nothing but the new column which I have created, that is new genus. Okay, so what I have created, I have created a column called new genus. From that column I will be getting items. Okay, that is one method, items, and I would be getting on the basis of index. So I will be just writing get item, that is the index, sorry, the lambda which I have assigned is like I over here, so I'm iterating over that I, or getting the index from that column, that is nothing but I, and I'm just aliasing that, that is nothing but, let's say, with a string interpolation, that is S, and I will say I need to go for every column. Okay, and after that I just need to say yeah, so here I'll just need to say all the columns. Okay, so that should go good. So don't worry about this, what I'm trying to write. So it is just, so if you see this piece of highlighted code, so I'm just trying to select all the columns and I'm trying to create a loop and I'm trying to iterate over every element. So that is what I'm trying to do over here, nothing else. So don't worry about it. So it's just a small piece of code. Okay, now once I have written that, after that I will be just trying to, so why select is giving me an error and why I'm not able to identify. Okay, so it is giving me a data frame. Yeah, so it's giving me a data frame, that is fine. Okay, so now after that what I am trying to do is I'm trying to write a select. Okay, so in this select now I will be getting certain columns. So these are my column names from my file which I got. Okay, and few columns which I have created and after computation or after certain logic. Okay, so I'm just trying to read those columns. Okay, so there should be some like 6 to 8 columns. So let me just, so let me just write, so first 3 columns from my file are movie title genus as it is. So let's say the first column is movie, the second is title, and the third column is genus. So the new columns which are there, so those I have taken as it is. So movie title genus, and the column which I have brought is like the new, so it's, let's take new title which we have broken into it, and let me take new year as well. Okay, because we have taken that also, let me take that year also, and the remaining column is nothing but my, let me just copy as, because those will be like call 0, call 1, call 2, call 3, and call 4. Okay, so this is like extra, and the closing braces. So let's execute this code and let's see what is the outcome, where till what point we have reached. Okay, so let's see till, and I think I have not given the column names, so that is fine. So it should be underscore C0. So this is executing, and Okay, so it is giving some errors. Let's try to okay, so cannot resolve movie. Okay, so it is not able to identify the column name. It's movie ID. Okay, so let me change that column name, so it should be movie ID. Okay, so let me re-execute this. Okay, so if you see, these were the three columns from my file as a source. I can drop these columns also. Okay, there is a API which says drop. I can drop that. So if you see, whatever the requirement was, like to break my column, this we have done that. So we have broken into two columns, and we have broken this genres columns also. Okay, so everything is working as expected. So whatever the code was, like, means whatever the small functionality was given to us, we have achieved that. Okay, and we are able to get the column names also. Okay, so here, so this is the code which was needed to achieve. And let's say if there are any exceptions coming in this code, okay, so you can handle this code with a try catch block also. Okay, so you can just write a small try over here and you can catch the exception. Okay, now let's not see that. Now what I need to do is I need to write the data back. Okay, what I need to do is I'm able to see the data. Okay, so I'm able to see the data. Now what I need to do is, so there is a place called data output. Okay, so here I need to write the data. Okay, so how we can write the data? So data frame name. Okay, so I need to use my write. Okay, then I need to use format. So the format which I'm trying to use is CSV. I can write in my XML, I can write in my JSON, Parquet and Avro and so on, depending on the file formats. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to save. Where I'm trying to save, let's say I'm trying to save at a particular location is nothing but similar to this. So it will be data in data op, so that is nothing but by output, and write my movies output. Okay, so some directory name which I am trying to give. Okay, so hopefully we should not have movi, so there is nothing. So now let me try to execute this piece of code. And what this will do is this will write the data back to my place at a local system. As of now, let's see that code is working fine, so there should not be an issue. So once the code gets executed, the data should be returned to my local file system. That is what the expectation out of this. So it's taking too much time. Okay, so it has just started now. Okay, so it is starting. Okay, so actually the println statement I should have commented out, but that is fine. So we are just printing on the console, so that should not be a concern. Okay, so let me just refresh this and let me just go to movies. Okay, if you see, there's movies output, and if you go over here, so we are able to see certain things. Okay, so if we just try to say open, I'll be able to see the data. Okay, if you want to add the header, again you can add the option. Remember, like while reading how we added, the same way we can do that. Okay, so if you see, so everything is like whatever the data which was there, so we are able to get. So now if you see, few places we are getting blank, so you can replace this blank with the default values also. Okay, but as of now that's not a requirement, so let's not deep dive into that. Okay, so we are able to write the data also. Okay, now let's take an example. Now when writing the code, if you are getting certain exceptions, okay, so you can handle those with try catch block, or you can use your different exception handling mechanism. Okay, so there are different error handling, either you can use throw catch or etc etc. So let's write a small throw catch block. Let's write try catch. So I'm just trying to write this under this. So whatever the code is, I want to execute that. Okay, so let me just take this over here. So let me close the closing bracket, and if there are any exceptions which are coming, so I want to catch this inside this. Okay, so the exceptions would be nothing like few exceptions which I am able to recall are like a file not found, or let's say input output exception, or maybe like the data size is so huge, so it is like we are getting OM error, like out of memory error, and various issues we'll be getting. Okay, so we can catch that with a case statement. So let's say I'm trying to catch my first exception, and let's say that exception is nothing but file not found exception. Okay, if that means if I am not giving the file at a particular file, it will give me this error. Okay, so but as of now we are not getting an error, so we should not be having any issues with this. Okay, so I'm trying to use my string interpolation, and the error I'm just trying to print is, let's say, file not found. Okay, same way I can just embed any exceptions which I want. Okay, so let's say the exception 2, and that is nothing but IO exception, which is nothing but input output exception. Okay, and in spite of file not found, we can say is input output parameter is missing, something like that. And we can give a default exception also, or else let's say we don't know what is the exception which would be occurring. You can name that as an unknown also. There is one default exception also, you can name that. So as of now, let's just say unknown exception, and here say not sure why the error is coming, anything which you can, why the error is coming. Okay, and if you see, there are a couple of errors which I am trying to get. Okay, yes, we are trying to, means we are facing means we are having couple of errors because couple of packages are not imported. So let me import that package. So that is nothing but import java.io. Under this we'll be having that file not found exception. Okay, and one more we were getting, that was import java.io, and the other was IO exception, right? The last one. Okay, so if any issues if you are getting in the code, so we have handled that in the exception also. Let me save the code. You can test that by not providing the file, etc, etc, but as of now let me just test whether this is functioning appropriately after X. And let me just comment out where I'm trying to give my println. I don't need this because that is not needed. Okay, so let me save this, and once this is saved, so the workspace is getting built. Okay, so the workspace is built, and let me execute this piece of code now. So again the same thing will happen. The file would be read from the local file system. The computations or the transformations which were based on certain requirements, those would be applied. Okay, after the applying of my transformation, the data would be written back to my local directory. Okay, once this is performed successfully, we'll try to see. Now if you see, again see, can movie output, earlier I deleted that directory, we are able to see that. So the code is working smooth and fine. So here till here the code is working smooth and fine. Now what I need to do is I just need to replace this code with, now I don't need to read the data from my local file system. Okay, I need to read the data from my AWS. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just go to my AWS. Okay, if I go to AWS, okay, I already have logged in. So in particular, sorry, this is, so if you see, these are regions, again it has certain things. So these are the services which basically as a data engineer we might be using. Okay, S3, IAM, Lambda, AWS Glue. If you are playing with IoT devices, few services are free, few services, sorry, there are three types of services. The first thing is, there are few services which are free for the entire lifetime till the account is not deleted or suspended. The second type of services are those services which are free only for 12 months. The third type of services are those services which are chargeable right from the word go. Okay, so IoT devices, then your AWS Lambda, then your Glue, the IoT cores which we use, these are the services which get charged instantly once you execute. But again, those charges are very minimal. We can bear that because we are in the learning process. We can bear that. But again, if we create a free account for the 12 months, we get lots of services and we can do hands-on practice. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go to my S3. If you're not sure, you can just type S3 over here. So it gives you everything. Okay, so just go to the S3. So there's a console which will, now we are playing with the GUI mode. The same thing I would have done with the EC2 instance only also. But let's go with a plain simple method as of now. Can you see one option which says create bucket? Yes, let's go to the create bucket option. Let's give some bucket name. Okay, so here I'm trying to give a bucket name, and let's say the bucket name is, let's try to give movie lens bucket. That's already there. Now the bucket name which we are trying to give is, can you see there is like global is coming at the top? So the bucket names are globally recognized, which means that the name of the bucket should not be available globally, which means that, let's say I'm having an account and one of my friend, let's say Pramod, he is also having an AWS account. Okay, and if he has created the same bucket with this, if he has created the bucket with the same name, I will not be able to create. So which means that globally the name should be unique. That is the first thing. So there are a couple of services which is nothing but IAM, and the second is S3. These are globally. Otherwise, rest of the services are region specific. Okay, so that's into AWS. So I'll not go into a lot of technicalities. I'll just quickly create my bucket. Okay, and if you see the bucket is created. Okay, so under this I'll just quickly go and I'll just upload my file. So this is just a graphical user interface which I'm trying to show. Okay, so let me go to my D drive, let me go to data in, and the Hadoop data set, and I have a file called movies.csv. Okay, and let's upload it. So I'm not setting certain properties of, it's just a plain thing. Done. Now the bucket name is movies.csv. Now what I need to do is I need to load the, or I need to read the file from the AWS S3 bucket, which is nothing but the movie lens bucket. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to load the data from here. Okay, so for that I need to have a credentials to communicate with S3. Those are nothing but my access keys and the secret keys. Once I have those access keys and secret keys, I'll be able to communicate. And how access keys and secret keys are generated, there is a service called IAM, which is nothing but identity access management. So I've already created that. I'll not be going into that, so let's not go. Let's come back to the Eclipse code. Once I come back to the Eclipse code, okay, now here I need to add certain things so that in spite of reading the data from my local file system, I should be able to read the data from my S3. That is what our scenario for today is. So I need to load the data from S3 and load the data back to the S3. That was the thing. So let's add certain configurations, and after adding certain configurations, let me add. Okay, so few things which we need to add is, these are like common things, so don't worry. So these are like common things, like once, and this will be the common syntax. Okay, so spark context. Okay, under this I'll be using my Hadoop configuration set properties. Okay, so Hadoop configuration set properties I'm doing. So what it is asking me key and value, or a name or a value. Okay, so the name is nothing and the value is nothing, something. Okay, so it is, how you need to remember, how I remember is file system, then I have S3A. Okay, again while reading the data from S3, there are three methods. One is S3, okay, one is S3N, and one is S3A. Okay, S3N is a native, and S3, which is an old method, which is a classic method. S3N is a native method, and S3A is the newer version, which is the third generation, and the two methods, which is S3N and S3, which is classic and the native, will be deprecated soon. Hence I'm trying to use my S3A. Okay, done. After that, what I need to do is I need to have my access key. So access dot key. Okay, so I have those. You will be getting this, don't worry about that. once you create an account, you will be getting that. Okay, so I'm using my access key over here. Let me copy this. Now it will just copy paste. Okay, now I have just taken access key over here, so I just need to say secret key. Okay, if you just go over here, there is a secret key also. Let me copy this, let me paste this. Okay, so I have written access key, I have written secret key. Okay, now what I need to do is here I just need to replace this. Now this is nothing but the endpoint which I need to provide, and that is a common endpoint for entire AWS. Okay, so S3 fs s3 dot endpoint, and that is nothing but what I need to give is s3 dot amazon. Okay, amazon aws.com. Okay, so that is the endpoint from where we are trying to access. So these are the three things which I have added. Okay, so the access key, the secret keys, and the endpoint. Okay, so I have done with the adding of the endpoint. Now to access the or to read the data from the S3 bucket, what I need to do is simply I just need to, if you come over here, okay, so so here I'm trying to read the data from my local file system. So I just need to change this. What I'll do is I'll comment this code, I'll copy this, I'll paste this over here. Okay, and I'll just remove this. So from where I'm trying to access, so it is nothing but the S3. Okay, and so I just need to give a double slash, and what is my bucket name? So bucket name is movie lens hyphen bucket. So movie lens hyphen bucket. Okay, under that bucket I have a file, and that file name is movies.csv. Okay, so I should be able to read the data. Okay, so if you want to see, we can do that by commenting out the code, but hopefully that should the code is working. So I just need to change the path, and we should be able to. Now what I need to do is I need to write the data back. Okay, so I'm just writing back to my S3. So I'm just let me just comment this, let me copy this, let me paste this. Okay, so I'm writing the data back to my S3. So I'm writing over S3 over here. Okay, same way S3a / okay. Now what I can do is I can use my movie hyphen lens. Sorry, what is the bucket name? Movie lens hyphen bucket. Okay, under this bucket I need to create my output. Okay, so the rest all code is like hopefully appropriate. Let me save this. Okay, so what are the changes which I have made? I have added certain configurations which are nothing but my access keys, and now I am trying to read the data from my S3 bucket, and I am trying to write the data back to my S3 bucket. Okay, that is what I am trying to perform. Right click, run as. So ideally what should I have done is here I should have removed this, so we could have seen the data here also, but that is fine, not an issue. Okay, so if you see this has completed. Let me go to my AWS S3. Let me just go back because a refresh needs to be done. Let me go to the movie lens bucket. Under this movie lens bucket, can you see one directory got created, movies output, and if you see under this there will be some part file which will be created, and I will be able to see the data inside this. So what I just need to do is I just need to download as something like, let's say if I want to download this as let's say CSV, etc., etc., I can do that also, and I can just view the data, same thing what I've done. Okay, so if you just see, so I'm just trying to open that, and let's open this. So it is opening and the file has opened, and if you see, we are able to see the same data. Okay, so we are able to read the data from S3, and if you want to see that, so means like I can just minimize, means I can just comment the code, whatever the code which is written, and I can just uncomment this so that I can see the data in my console also. I can do that also. But again, so entire code, like we are able to see the final result, which means that the data was read from the S3 and it was written. Okay, So if let's try to let me remove this, and what we can do is, let me go to this bucket and let's delete this output for the time being, and let's delete this, and let's see the data in console also. Okay, what we can do is, this is the data frame, right? So I can just say result.show also. Okay, I can do that also. So let's just see first 5 records. Okay, so let me just let me save this. So now what we'll do, again the data would be read from S3 from this path. Okay, the computation will be performed, or sorry, the transformations would be performed. Then yeah, with this I will be able to see the data in console, and the data would be written back to my S3 bucket. So I don't have anything over here, so I just have my movies.csv. okay, so let's do that as well. Run a Scala application. So let's see the console in the output, sorry, the output in the console. Okay, we are able to see the output, same output, like means that we are able to access the data from this S3 bucket. Okay, so we are able to access the data, and hopefully, so here if I go back and I just refresh this, I should have my output file got created, output directory got created. Yes, the directory got created, and the part file is getting created. And what else? Again the same thing, you can download this and you can view the data. Okay, so this was a small demonstration of writing the code in a Scala paradigm, so like Spark Scala paradigm, wherein I'm just trying to access my data from AWS cloud, and from that I'm trying to access my S3 services. Okay, so I'm trying to read that, I'm trying to do certain computations, and finally I'm writing back data to my S3 as well. So everything is working perfectly fine, and that's it for the day. So maybe like I can be open for the questions. I'll just stop the recording, so I guess